Hey, Rock and Metal Guardians, it's Dane. Today's episode will be about my top favorite 25 albums of all time. And these are studio albums only. If I were to add live albums, it would get incredibly complicated. So I thought I'd just stick to studio albums. And before we look at my list and count down from 25 to 1, I'm going to give you the top 3 reasons why they make my list. Number 3, the synergy of the tracks, and what I mean by that is the selection of tracks and how they fit so perfect in the order in which they are given from the beginning to the end of the album. And then tied to that, number 2 is the whole album is great from start to finish, and that's tied to number 1, of course, which is just the music on the album is just great all around. Not a lot of filler, if any, for these. For me personally, I don't think there's any filler whatsoever. If there is maybe a song, maybe half a song, if that makes sense. Let's go ahead and get started. So number 25 is Holy Diver by Ronnie James Dio, his debut. And by the time you get to the last track, you're just so full and rewarded. It's just a great experience to listen to. It's an album I never get tired of. Number 24 is Aerosmith's Rocks. I don't think I have a favorite song on this album. For Dio, mine would be definitely the title track, Holy Diver, and Rainbow in the Dark as a tie. But for Rocks, I don't have a favorite. I just listen to this straight through. I never skip a song. That's how much I still like it, despite the fact that it's from the early mid-'70s. Coming in at 23, Deep Purple, Stormbringer. Great album cover, but the music is even more wonderful. This album was, I'm pretty sure, panned by critics and a lot of fans. Jumped off the Deep Purple train, but for me, I think it's close to a perfect album, if not a perfect album. Okay. 22, I don't have a prop for you, but it's Blue Oyster Cult Secret Treaties. Again, great from start to finish, and it ends with the wonderful, need I say, beautiful Astronomy. Birth of a Star is what that song is about. It's got some ties to Lovecraftian mythos. But again, like the albums I've just presented, all of these, they blow me away. Maybe I find something new in it each time, or it's just so amazing. It doesn't get old. What can I say? Next, number 21 is Yes's Relayer, the only album with Patrick Moraz on it on keyboards and all other key instruments. The Gates of Delirium, the first song, loosely based on War and Peace is what I understand. It's like 23 minutes and change. It's, for lack of a better description, it's probably Yes's heaviest song in so many ways. Maybe second would be Heart of the Sunrise. You have 3 songs, Gates of Delirium, Sound Chaser, and To Be Over. This has got some bonus tracks on it. What I like about that is it's got the single edit of Soon, which is the last section of Gates of Delirium, and here's where John Anderson shines on the album the best. It's mostly him showcasing his vocal talent, and it's just so emotionally moving. Just a great song, great album. Number 20 is Mott the Hoople's Mott album. 9 great tracks. Just has some bonus tracks. That's the new deal, or rather has been for so long. You buy CDs now if you can find the ones you want. Sometimes that's tough, but you get the bonus track version, which is just wonderful most of the time. You have all the way from Memphis, WizKid, Hymn for the Dudes, Honolulu Boogie, Driving Sister Violence, Ballad of Mott the Hoople. My 2 favorite tracks are number 8, I'm a Cadillac / El Camino Dolorosa, and the last song, I Wish I Was Your Mother, before we get into the bonus track. So Mott at their peak, perhaps my favorite Mott the Hoople album. And then number 19 is Queen's Sheer Heart Attack. The only song I don't like on here is the number 11, Bring Back That Leroy Brown. I don't care for vaudeville, camp, ragtime, whatever you want to call it. So that rules out half of the 2 albums that follow. Night at the Opera and Day at the Races is just not my thing. But what's wonderful about this album, in addition to all the things I said about the 3 components that make up this list, among other things, is not only are the tracks great from start to finish, but they connect. All of them connect. It's not a concept album, but At first listen, it seems that way, but it's not. Next is Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars, coming in at number 18. A very cliched choice, but hey, it is what it is. It's what I love on this list. So, 17, Sabotage. This album is wonderful for many reasons. It starts off so heavy with Hole in the Sky and Symptom of the Universe. Don't Start Too Late is an in-between small section that Black Sabbath was known for doing, like FX on Volume 4. You have the long piece, Megalomania, then The Thrill of It All, Superstars with a Z, Am I Going Insane, and then the wonderful closing track, The Writ, which is about Black Sabbath's ex-manager or manager at the time who was stealing money from them, if I remember that correctly, and then coincidentally on Queen's album, the Queen album that has Death on Two Legs, which is either Night at the Opera or A Day at the Races, I forget which, I think it's the latter. That's about the same manager, because Freddie Mercury and Queen had to deal with him and he was stealing money from them as well. And so Death on Two Legs is about their manager or ex-manager. So, and on number 8, The Writ here, Ozzy, and well, the whole album, but Ozzy is really fired up and angry, especially on The Writ. So he sounds wonderful when he's angry. Okay, next. Number 16, so Sabotage was 17, is the wonderful Uriah Heep album, Demons and Wizards, and starts off with the acoustic piece, The Wizard, and then ends with Paradise / The Spell, which is a 12-minute and change number that not exactly sounds like Meatloaf, but it has a Meatloaf-like quality. I can imagine Meatloaf singing it. David Byron is just a wonderful singer all around, but here he's just brought up his game like 10 times from what his wonderful level already is. So just a great album all around. It's a very good compliment to what follows in The Magician's Birthday. Next, we have Lark's Tongues and Aspic, and starts with the title track Part 1 and ends with title track Part 2, and then you have the songs in between, Book of Saturday, Exiles, Easy Money, and then after that you have the Talking Drum, which is an instrumental, and Book of Saturday, Exiles, and Easy Money are all songs that have lyrics, and John Wetton, perhaps at his best here, arguably at his best. An album I've had on cassette, vinyl, 8-track, and different versions of CD. They're coming out with yet another version of this called the Legacy Edition. I think it comes out mid-July. I have no idea. I tried looking it up, but I don't know what's going to be on it. So I don't know if it's a box set or not. I have to keep my eyes peeled. So that was number 15. Demons and Wizards was 16. Number 14 is Pink Floyd's Animals. I have difficult time choosing this or The Wall, but I decided, I reached for this just a little bit more, even though it's shorter than The Wall. They're neck and neck, but I picked this one. And Dogs is my favorite. Coming in at number 13 is 2112. Of course, the title track, when it was on vinyl, makes up all of side 1, and then you get the wonderful side 2 Passage to Bangkok, The Twilight Zone, Lessons in Tears, and then Something for Nothing. I believe that Lessons in Tears was the first time that Alex and Geddy gave a crack at writing the lyrics, and Lessons is Alex and Tears is Geddy. And wow, Tears is just really a moving, emotionally sad song, but it's still really cool. I like it. All right. Number 12 is Led Zeppelin's 4th album, really untitled album, but what can you say about a song, an album that has Stairway to Heaven, When the Levee Breaks, Black Dog, The Battle of Evermore, a Tolkien-esque song. This is the deluxe version, 2D set. So, got to have that in there. And then back to Rush. And this is, yes, number 11. So this is on the cusp of my top 10. I had this on vinyl, and this was highly influenced by their love of British prog. Side 1, Farewell to Kings, then Xanadu, and then Side 3, you get, I'm sorry, side 2, you get Closer to the Heart, Cinderella Man, Madrigal, and Cygnus X1. Three-way tie as far as favorite songs on here. The first two songs and then Cygnus X1. I love it all, but great album cover, great album. And then number 10, Operation Mindcrime. I remember buying this when we still had the New Orleans East Mall, the Lake Forest Plaza, and my sister worked at the record store at the time, and I remember grabbing it and being sold by the sticker that said, it's just as good as The Wall. Yes, it's that good, is what the sticker said. Yes, it's that good. So sold. I'll go check out that and got in line. And then this is number 9. Yeah, Screaming for Vengeance, number 9. Another great album. Opens with the Hellion / Electric Eye, and then the third song, Riding on the Wind, with that amazing fast speed drumming from Dave Holland. And my favorite song, Screaming for Vengeance, because we have Rob singing and a really high register. It's almost a thrash metal song, if not a pure thrash metal song in so many ways, along there with Motorhead's Overkill. And then Kill 'Em All, number 8. I had to get this as an import when it first came out for whatever reason, to the chagrin of my mom. Anyway, God bless her. I don't have to talk much about that album. That's just a classic thrash album. Their best, if you ask me. Okay, number 7 is Deep Purple's In Rock. Perhaps their heaviest record. And the glorious 10-minute and change, Child in Time. Could argue it's a little proggy because it's so long. Maybe. And then next we have High and Dry, number 6. This is Def Leppard at their best. I like what follows, and I like what comes before, but that for me, that's it. Only their first 3 albums. I know a lot of people feel that way. This is Def Leppard at their heaviest and their best. No, 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 the closer is so heavy and a fun song. You have the great Switch 625, which I have to play. It runs, Bringing On the Heartbreak runs right into that song, so I have to play them back to back. Whenever I hear Bringing On the Heartbreak on the radio, I have to run home and play Switch 625. Just great all around. Pete Willis, too bad he stopped playing music, but I understand why. Next, Rising. This used to be lower in my top 25, but for the last couple years, it's got to be in the, it's number 5. It's got to be in the top 5. I don't have to say much about that, if anything at all. Number 4, some say there are better albums than this. Well, yeah, it's an opinion. This for me is where I came in, and some of the songs are not as heavy, but it's just an all-around great song. It just moves me in so many ways. So very nostalgic album for me. So there you go. UFO's Phenomenon. Number 4, the first album I ever had, I didn't buy it, but the first album I ever owned was Boston's debut, perhaps the greatest debut of all time, maybe. And side 1 is, I love side 1 the best, More Than the Feeling, Peace of Mind, Foreplay / Long Time. But then side 2 is wonderful as well. Not as wonderful, but this close. So great album. This should not be a surprise to people who've seen previous videos of mine. This is my number 2. Don't need to say anything more about this album. And then finally, number 1 is Led Zeppelin's Physical Graffiti. This is the 3 CD version. When Jimmy Page again remastered things. I think this is a definitive edition. This is to Led Zeppelin what Exile on Main Street is to the Rolling Stones. So anyway, I'm going to do a follow-up video to this to talk about other albums that are on the cusp or runners-up. So thanks for watching. I hope you have a blessed day.